Good afternoon. This is a March 84 G, not your usual Geoff Buys Cars car. However, this car and a gigantic pile of cocaine was used to beat Porsche at their own game. And I'm all for that. I mean, it's funny. I'm not all for gigantic piles of cocaine. But let me tell you the story. The March 84 G was built to compete in the now defunct IMSA GT sports car series. In 1981, the GTP introduced a class for sports prototypes. This 84G was championed alongside an 83G for the 1984 championship year. It was driven by Randy Lanier and 1979 Le Mans 24-hour winner Bill Whittington. It was this very car that helped Lanier and Whittington and the Blue Thunder Racing / Apache Powerboats team take the title that year. So this car, driven by Randy Lanier and Bill Whittington, won in 1984, taking the fight to the big players in the prototype and sports series. As Lanier defeated the heavily sponsored and factory-supported Group 44 Racing Jaguar XJR5s and the Lowenbrow sponsored Hulbert Racing Porsche 962, questions began to surface about how the small team was being financed. So this is the Lowenbrow sponsored Porsche 962 and the heavily sponsored Jaguar XJR5. These are factory teams with real sponsors who were beaten in 1984 by Randy Lanier and Bill Whittington and his powerboat company that were sponsoring it. Lanier soon found himself under investigation by the FBI, along with Bill and Don Whittington and Ben Kramer of Apache Powerboats. It was around this time that the full story began to unravel. Lanier had been using go-fast boats to bring narcotics into the USA since 1974 and had been working in cahoots with Ben Kramer, the owner of Apache Powerboats, and others as part of a multi-million-dollar drugs empire. Lanier was convicted of importing and distributing over 300 tons of marijuana, believed to be worth $68 million. He disappeared shortly before he was due to be sentenced. In October of 1988, he was caught, and both he and partner Ben Kramer received life without parole sentences on the 4th of October 1988. The 84G, this car, was seized by the FBI in October 1987. Then it was sold to Turkey Burkey's Auto Sales. Then it was sold to Jim Briody. Briody and his wife were determined to unearth more of the history on the 84G, and that correspondence remains in the history file with the car today. There can't be many top race cars that can list General Services Administration Personal Property Center, Kennedy Space Center as a previous owner. This car was literally owned by the FBI. The car came to the UK in 2007 and it was fully rebuilt in 2015. And Randy Lanier was released from prison in 2014 and is still involved in motor racing. So this car, the March 84G, was listed for sale by a classic car dealer in the UK in summer 2018, so 4 years ago. It's no longer on the website and I don't know where it is. So if you have Randy Lanier's marijuana financed March 84G that beat Porsche in the prototype series in 1984, do get in touch because I'd love to have a drive. As if someone's going to get in touch and say, yeah, sure, I've got Randy Lanier's March 84G highly specialised prototype race car. Would you like to review it for your channel? But what a story! He was genuinely building powerboats, filling them full of marijuana. I know I said cocaine at the start, but it was marijuana, filling them full of marijuana and then taking it to the States. And all the profit he was making from his drug money, he was putting into his racing team. I'm sorry, I know you shouldn't encourage this sort of thing, but I just feel like he's a bit of a legend. That's just funny. What a great story. I know, drugs are bad and bad things are drugs and don't just say no and all this sort of stuff. But there's plenty of worse things that go on in the world than two blokes bringing some plants across an ocean to sell them for a profit and then go racing, isn't there? Anyway, it's better than talking about some of the other stuff I've been talking about on my channel lately. Good afternoon. The car shown... I hate dogs. If it's not dogging, it's dogs. Last week it was dogging next to me. Now it's dogs. I'm going to carry on anyway.
Geoff Buys Cars. Still YouTube's most boring car channel.